What's going on, y'all? Today we got NBA Legends explain why Ron Harper was like Michael Jordan, man. Let's get into this one.
Ronnie Harper right over the top.
Hey guys, this is Dominique Wilkins.
Hey, this is Sean Kemp.
This is Gary Payton.
How's it going? Welcome, David.
You gotta like the intro. This
My name
intro
is Sean
if
David.
you gotta do, let me know in the comments,
to your
y'all.
weekly dose of
I'll start
old
letting
school
it play
NBA
and shit.
basketball. Now, if you follow my show on a regular basis, then you probably noticed that I'm covering also some, I don't want to say lesser known players, but players who weren't those superstars. And I'm very happy that you guys seem to enjoy those videos. So today's player is also a guy who I wanted to cover for such a long time, Ron Harper. So NBA Legends talking about Ron Harper. But before we start, let's take a quick look at the sponsor of today's video. Today's video is brought to you by AG1 by Athletic Greens. Additional drink was my mental going to-do list.
Get your money, my brother. Oh, I fucked up. Damn, I fucked up.
So the first legend that's going to talk about Ron Harper is Isaiah Thomas, and it's a pretty interesting clip, and I hope you guys haven't seen that one before. Let's take a look.
Well, Zeke, I do have a confession. Ron Harper, he took a picture with me when I was like 8 or 9 years old, and that was on my wall until we moved out of that house, well into college. Ron Harper was a hero of mine just because when he came to the Bulls, he really was a fan favorite, but my dad made sure that I was a historian of the game of basketball, and I understood how much of a scorer and high flyer he was back in his early days with the Cavs and the Clippers.
Did you get a chance to see him play when he was with the Cavs?
Oh man, that on tape.
Yeah.
I used to watch Ron Harper D-up Mike. I remember that playoff series, with 89, when they lost by 1 point to the Bulls. But I mean, he reinvented his game every team he went to.
And Candace, but before he got hurt, before he had the knee injury, you talk about a high flyer. The three flyers in the game at that time was Harper, Clyde Drexler, and Michael Jordan. And Harp had handles. Not only did he have handles, but you saw he had moves around the basket. He was a competitor. And when he went to the Bulls, he definitely changed his game. But before he got to Chicago, that Cleveland team that we're showing highlights of, that was the team that all of us were afraid of. That was our biggest challenge in the Central Division. It wasn't the Chicago Bulls, it was the Cleveland Cavaliers. And the Cavs were leading everybody by 5-6 games at that period of time. I mean, you talk about a backcourt of Mark Price, Ron Harper. I mean, Joe Dumars and I, when we saw those two guys, they gave us fits. Those were the two guys. And Harp definitely, I'm glad he won a championship. But not only am I glad he won a championship because he was a beautiful player, but a much more beautiful person when you got to know him.
And the next player's opinion that we're going to take a look at is from Olden Polynice, one of the most entertaining guys from back in the days. He has some very interesting interviews, so if you don't know them, definitely check them out. They're pretty entertaining. So let's take a look what he has to say about Ron Harper.
That's like Ron Harper. Ron Harper used to give Michael fits before his injury.
Well,
he
outplayed Mike.
Ron gave Mike fits before his injury.
Hold on, did he outplay Mike? He played him tough.
Ron Harper gave Michael Jordan fits before his knee injury.
So what you saying?
I'm just saying, there's certain people that gave him a fit. Mitch Richmond gave him fits.
I'm Ron Harper, five-time NBA champion. Started my career in Cleveland Cavaliers. Got traded to the Los Angeles Clippers. The rest is history with Chicago and LA.
What time is it? Out to Harper against Sigma. Oh, Ronnie right over the top. Harper into the forecourt, drives the lane. Wham! For the right hand.
When I came in the NBA, it was a hand-to-hand combat game. It wasn't a lot of three-point shooting game. And you had guys that could slash, that could score. You had people that could shoot it. The game has evolved into a free-flowing game. You can't hold up guys. You can't grab guys. It's not as physical as it was back when we played. You wasn't allowed to just drive down the paint and dunk on a guy or raise your hand and shout out how good you are.
3-on-2 for the Clippers. Over Elo. They isolate.
was getting bodied just now.
For Harper.
The toughest player for me to guard was Reggie Miller, Jeff Malone. You have to chase them all the time.
Take one.
A two guard is a person that can flat out score for you.
Bounce to Harper, drives the right baseline underneath, scoops it up in. Harper into the forecourt, drives the lane, wham!
He's an all-around player, can go to the basket, can hit the open jumper.
He fires and hits it.
Be super on a fast break.
Harper's shaking, baking, yeah.
Play both ends of the floor.
Harper steals the ball. Harper saves the Nance.
And not afraid to take it to the basket at crunch time.
Harper drives for the hoop. Wham! Stopped by Harper.
I'm a small town kid and I love the game.
Harper.
As a basketball player, your job is to go out on the court and give yourself a chance to win every basketball game.
Look at this play.
Bron was absolutely one of the top 5 all-around players that I saw throughout my era and beyond.
Harper makes a beautiful bank shot while double teamed.
I guess somebody upstairs had their hand down here. Give me a chance to show guys that I really enjoy being around this game.
The Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship.
I play basketball for the love of this game.
I can retire now. They quit now. Maybe you want to do it. I'll be back next year.
Like the guys who can do it all. You get a guy like a Joe Dumars who can score the basketball and was a good defensive player. You get a guy like an MJ who can play 2 ends of the floor. Back then, we had guys who could play both sides.
Down to 1:05 to go. Blocked by Harper. How about that? Harper just redeemed himself.
Going to the Chicago Bulls gave me a chance to chase the ultimate game prize, and that is a championship. We made the other teams try to adjust to what we was doing. We kind of redefined what the NBA was. The Chicago Bulls team was probably the best defensive team I ever played on. We had a great offensive player in MJ. We had a lot of great role players, guys who accepted what they had to do to be a part of a good basketball team.
3 seconds to shoot. He beats the shot clock and cans a huge shot.
The years that the Chicago Bulls won the championship, you really enjoy your first championship always. But I think our last 2 against the Utah Jazz was the hardest. We had a play Karl Malone and John Stockton, and it was a very tough team with a crazy fan base. That was a team that set us apart from what everybody else said we couldn't do.
You know, being a huge Chicago Bulls fan, especially back in those days in the 1990s, Ron Harper to me was always probably the most underrated guy on the team, which is kind of hard to say because Tony Kukoc is also terribly underrated. But Ron Harper was just such a great player on offense and on defense, and people kind of overlooked him because he was not that great scorer, which also is, pretty much false, because when he was playing for the Clippers and the Cavaliers, that guy could average 20 points per game. And if it wasn't for those knee injuries, I'm pretty sure he still would have contributed even more on offense, but it was not necessary with the Bulls. You already had Jordan and Pippen who would score, Tony Kukoc who would score around 15 points per game, so Ron Harper's job was a little bit different, and I'm still 100% sure that this guy, or without that guy, the Bulls never would have broken the record with 72 wins and probably didn't win a three-peat. Who knows? I just wanted to make sure that Ron Harper gets much love in this video, so Ron, this episode's for you, my friend.
Nasty to this one, y'all. NBA legends explain why Ron Harper was like Jordan. Let me know how y'all feel about this. Let me know what else I need to learn about Ron Harper. Let me know if there's some videos out there. Link them down below, man. Check them out. Check them out. Turn on post notifications. Make sure you click on the last video, last reaction right here on your screen right now. And I'm out of here, man.